The blackmailer of the second evil captor was none other than his victim, Ifat Khan, herself. Her Hindi and English instructor encouraged her to trap her evil captor and abuser by videotaping his beatings and sadistic abuse. Her teacher was a Sikh. He was 84 but no less observant. He noticed the change in his student's disposition. Ifat looked sad and under stress. It appeared to him that she was going through a difficult time. Thinking he could help her in some way, he asked her about the reason for her depressing mood. Ifat told him everything. She tearfully revealed to him the way she was abused and tortured by her captor. She told him further she wanted to kill herself in order to escape the beatings and abuse of her Indian husband. She said that his men had kidnapped her from in front of her hotel and brought her to the farmhouse. Then, he imprisoned her, blackmailed her, and married her against her wish. The Sikh teacher was shocked when he came to know that Ifat Khan wasn't like any of the other girls that Mahmud Khan had brought to his farmhouse. Every one of them followed him home willingly, because they wanted to be in his films. Every previous victim agreed to compromise in her honor in order to appear on the silver screen. Before she told him her sad story, the teacher was under the impression that Ifat was a new film actress who was going to play a leading role in the director's upcoming movie. Moreover, he thought that she was being kept at the farmhouse until she could learn how to read and write in Hindi and English. The teacher was the mastermind behind the plan of trapping Mahmud Khan by videotaping his psychotic behavior and then using the footage to blackmail him into compliance. The teacher did not expect Mahmud Khan to pay the huge amount of money. In fact, the teacher used Ifat's own bank account. Neither the teacher nor Ifat had a clue whether Mahmud Khan had deposited the 10 crores of ransom money into her account. The accomplice that made the phone calls and sent the video on their behalf was an old friend of the teacher. There was only one video. The teacher was the one who smuggled the camera inside Ifat's bedroom and taught her how to use it. The camera was installed in a corner and concealed. The teacher told Ifat that just before the arrival of Mahmud Khan, she should switch it on. The plan worked out perfectly. That day, Ifat put on a fine show crying and screaming while her evil captor was beating and raping her. When he left her, she switched off the camera. Her teacher came on the following day, took the camera from her, and hid it in his suitcase. The teacher was the only one in the farmhouse who lived in Mumbai. He would come every day by bus and spend 2 hours with Ifat in her room teaching her Hindi and English. Then, he would return home to Washi. Mahmud Khan paid him very well for his 2 hours, even full-time teachers could not hope to make 10% of what he made teaching for 2 hours a day. He was an old friend of the director and was a spare actor at times playing a father or teacher in his movies, but his real passion was teaching. Mahmud as a special favor asked him to teach his new film actress privately how to read and write and he would pay him handsomely for he knew he could trust him. When he came to know of the abuse suffered by his student at the hands of his old friend, he put himself at risk, forsook the friendship and started planning her escape. The teacher took the video and watched it in his house. He could not believe that a human being could be so cruel and evil to beat and inflict such severe pain on an innocent young girl. Before watching the video, he thought of Mahmud Khan as a successful and highly respected celebrity in Bollywood. He even boasted among his friends and relatives about his side roles in some of his films. However, after viewing the tape, he felt a strong aversion to his friend, and he was determined to stop what was happening in his farmhouse. He knew that if he took the video to the police, Mahmud Khan would bribe his way out of the charges. Worse than that, Mahmud had influence and could probably have his friends in law enforcement frame him with false charges and put him behind bars for the rest of his life. Therefore, the teacher shared Ifat's problem with one of his old trusted friends. Then, he requested his friend make a call from a public pay phone and told him what to say. He assured him that no trouble would befall him. The blackmail plan worked as planned. Ifat was released from her prison and transferred to an apartment in Mumbai. Mahmud Khan continued to keep her under his control through his blackmailing. Shortly after that, Ifat Khan was assigned her first role, and she began to act in his upcoming movie. Mahmud Khan did everything he could in order to hide Ifat Khan's identity before he introduced her to Bollywood. The silver screen would now welcome its newest debutante, Aphrodite Khan. He said in an interview with the Blitz magazine that Aphrodite is a Muslim girl who was born and brought up in Iran. Her parents were originally Indian Muslims from Mumbai, who left for Tehran before Aphrodite was born. In Iran, her family made a great fortune and became one of the wealthiest families in Tehran. Then, the greatest Bollywood director claimed that he met Aphrodite and her parents in one of his trips to London. It was in the dancing hall of a five-star hotel where he saw her for the first time. Her marvelous beauty and commanding personality led him to approach her and introduce himself to her. Then, he offered her a role in his upcoming movie. Aphrodite liked the offer, but said she could not accept such a proposal without the approval of her parents. After meeting with her parents, he got the go-ahead to take their daughter under his wings and acquaint the young film actress to the Bollywood film industry. The director continued to say, Aphrodite's parents welcomed the idea and allowed their daughter to travel with him to India. Although Aphrodite spoke fluent Urdu and Hindi, she could not read or write in either of these important languages of India. The reason given, she was schooled in the Persian language. She could read and write in English, but she wasn't fluent in it. For that reason, as soon as she came to Mumbai, he made arrangements for her to undergo intensive language courses. For 9 months, she had been taught Hindi and English. She was continuing to study these two important languages of Bollywood. Possibly a colonial remnant, India required fluency in English, no matter how many degrees you have under your belt or whatever you have achieved in science. Without the ability to speak English, Indians would look down on you. From the time Prophet Muhammad began to preach his new religion in the desert of Arabia, until the time Mahmud Khan introduced his new film actress to Bollywood, it is doubtful that any Muslim family had ever named their daughter after the Greek goddess of love and beauty, Aphrodite. That question was put before the renowned film director to explain. Squirming, he related that he did not know exactly why the Indo-Iranian family had decided to call their only daughter Aphrodite. But he had observed, he said, that Aphrodite's parents weren't all that religious. When he met them at the London hotel, he did not know that they were Muslims until Aphrodite introduced them to him. They dressed and behaved like Westerners. They were smoking cigars and drinking alcohol like everyone else in the hotel dance hall. Another question that had far-reaching implications for Mahmud was that since Aphrodite had Indian parents, would she then apply for the Indian citizenship? Mahmud Khan had already lied in the interview about the true identity of Ifat Khan. He said that she was Iranian by birth and carried Iranian papers. He answered that tricky question by saying that the decision to apply for Indian citizenship is an extremely personal matter, and must be left to Aphrodite and her family. Then, the interviewer asked him if she decided to become a citizen of India, would she compete in Miss Mumbai? Mahmud Khan did not like where all this was going. It was obvious that the media liked her and he did not want his mistress to gain that much fame and popularity. If she became too famous, people would listen to her and that would not do. So, he responded to the question by saying that Aphrodite herself told him that she wasn't interested in participating in any beauty contest. She believed that as a Muslim girl, her religious faith would prevent her from exposing her nude body before men. Mahmud Khan contradicted his first story about the modern parents of Aphrodite who behaved like Westerners and drank alcohol and smoked cigars and cigarettes. The interviewer demanded an explanation for the contradiction between the secular Muslim parents and their strict religious daughter who would not like to expose her nude body in public. Therefore, the director was trapped by his own lies. He could not give any justifiable answer to that question. Mahmud Khan did not allow Aphrodite Khan to appear in any public place or attend any interviews. Of course, he hid from the media his marital relationship with his new heroine. He restricted her movements and kept her imprisoned in an apartment in one of his buildings at Bandra, Mumbai. He continued to beat and abuse her sexually as he used to do to her in his farmhouse. He reminded her that she was wanted by the Indian police. He told her that if she tried to escape from his apartment, his men would catch her and turn her into the police. He lied to her and told her that her Saudi husband was released from jail and was still searching for her. He threatened further that he would show the video he showed her before and a new one to her husband. Unfortunately, he turned her own video against her. He showed her the video she had made and lied saying he was the one who made it. He said that if she tried to run away, he would send the video of her masturbating and the video that showed her having sex with him to her Saudi husband. Although she knew about the second video, she could not say anything without implicating what may have been the only friendly soul she had. Consequently, the blackmailing plan did not change his attitude towards her. Ifat lost contact with her teacher as soon as she left the farmhouse. Mahmud Khan did not bother about her education anymore. He just wanted to use her in his movie for making more money, and at night, he continued to use her to satisfy his evil lust.